Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be seeing how to solve day 20 of Hackerrank's 30 days of code. Today's problem is based on bubble sort. Now let us understand the concept of bubble sort with the help of an example. Now let's say our array is 10, 7, 2, 3 and 5. At the beginning, this is what we have. Now in our program, what we will do is we will compare first 10 and 7. Now since 10 is greater than 7, then we will put 7 in 10's place and 10 in 7's place. Or in other words, we will be swapping them. So this is what our array will become. Now in the next step, we will be comparing 10 and 2. Now since 10 is greater than 2, they will swap places. So this is what our array will become. 7, 2, 10, 3 and 5. Now again, we will compare 10 and 3. Since 10 is greater than 3, again they have to swap places. So this is what our array will become. 7, 2, 3, 10 and 5. And finally when we compare 10 and 5, 10 is greater. So again 5 will become in 10's place and 10 will go in 5's place. So this will be our array. After the first complete loop from first to last element of the array. Now in the second loop, we will be again starting from first element to the last element. So first when we compare 7 and 2, 7 is greater than 2 and hence they will swap places. So our array will become 2, 7, 3, 5 and 10. Again when we compare 7 and 3, they have to swap places as 7 is greater. Hence this is what our array will become 2, 3, 7, 5 and 10. Finally again when we compare 7 and 5, 7 is greater so they will swap places giving us our next array 2, 3, 5, 7 and 10. Now the third time when the outer loop begins, 2, 3, 5, 7 and 10 are already in ascending order. So there will be 0 swaps done. And if 0 swaps are done, this means that our array has undergone no further changes, which means our array is now in ascending order. After which we can print our final output. So these are all the changes that happen. First we had 10, 7, 2, 3 and 5. Then our array becomes this. And then these are all the steps that take place later. Now, as we notice, 10 goes step by step into the next position until it reaches its final position, like a bubble rising up. This is why this type of sorting is also known as bubble sort. The 10 is in a line, or you could say it goes down in steps, and the same applies to 7. Now, let's get back to our problem. So our task is we have an array A which has n distinct elements. Our job is to sort the array in ascending order. And our output must contain 3 lines. One which prints the number of swaps that took place. Second line prints the first element of our sorted array. And the third line prints the last element of our sorted array. Now this is how I have solved the problem. First, we are creating 5 integer variables, 2 counter variables, one variable which temporarily stores the values when swapping 2 numbers in our array, one variable to store how many swaps have been done in the current loop, and one variable to store the total number of sortings taken place to arrange the elements of the array in ascending order. In our first for loop, we will be accepting input from the user for all the elements of our array A. And in the second for loop, we will be traversing through each element of our array and comparing whether the current element and the element after that are greater or less than it. So swaps done variable must be initially set to 0. And in our inner for loop, we have an if block that checks whether A at counter 2, that is element at current position, is greater than element at counter 2 plus 1. Now suppose our element is in the first position. So 10, 7, 2, 3 and 5. So first it compares 10 and 7. Now since 10 is greater than 7, this is what we will perform. Temporary swap storage equal to A at counter 2. That is temporary swap storage equal to 10. Then we store the value of 7 in 10's place. And then finally in 7's place we store 10. and we increment the swaps done variable. Now after this has completed the process of looping from first element till last element, that is after we reach this step, then the inner for loop gets over and the next statements get executed. Now after this we must check whether the number of swaps done equal to 0. This is necessary because as we noticed in our last step here, the number of swaps done will be 0 because it's already in ascending order. Now we do not want our loop to continue running for unnecessary number of times without checking if the array is already in ascending order. Hence directly we can break it. Now finally our total number of sortings must uh, have the value of swaps done added to it in order to produce the correct output after the inner for loop has been executed. Now the outer for loop will run again and swaps done variable is set to 0 and the whole process takes place again until our array is completely arranged in ascending order, and these are the output lines. Now we can run our code. Our code has passed sample test cases, so we must submit our code now. We have obtained correct output and hence our code works. Once again, if you guys have any doubts or any other way of solving this problem, do let me know in the comments and I will see you in another video. Thanks for watching.